still burning ashes in shame. Wind still whisper, old voices remain. But the Foxfire's coming, it's lighting the way in the dark of the past. We won't stay.
It is the night after the municipal elections here in North Carolina, and we are putting the Dispatch and the Leftable North crew together tonight. We're going to talk about some stuff, but today is definitely a special one. Liz Purvis from the Foxfire Dispatch. How are you doing tonight?
Adrian, hey CJ. I'm doing good. I am so deliriously tired, but also delighted with the results overall last night.
Yeah, I think we can say the same sure. For sure. CJ and Liz and I were all kind of sharing our individual intermittent celebratory drinks / memes. Just like, hey, we're seeing the results come in. This is the best we've felt since November 2024. Like, we got to celebrate somehow. So that's what we're doing now.
How are y'all's nights? What did you all? Well, hello, lovely little guest. Where did y'all end up?
Right here, where I'm recording, just from my couch. I mean, I had quite the setup going, watching everything last night. I had, my laptop. I had Spectrum News on there, or actually, I think it was MSNBC. Just kind of switch between tabs. I had that. Then I had my phone on a little stand right beside it, watching the Carolina Hurricanes game. And then up on my TV, I had Dancing with the Stars playing it, because that is what my wife loves to watch on Tuesdays. And she also
West Wing.
Kind of get me into it as well. So
I appreciate some reality TV watching, obviously.
I've been watching Survivor a lot. Like, especially this most recent season.
What do you think of it?
My favorite cast member got voted off almost immediately. So it's like, what do I even do now? But I honestly, sometimes it feels like politics. Like, sometimes you see the ones you like fall off real quick, and then you're just kind of like, well, I got to hold my nose and eventually vote for one of these two people.
That is 110% how I felt when John Lovett was the first person voted off of his season. I just felt like personally aggrieved about that for him.
I forget that happened.
Yeah, he yeah. It's always they try to have like some kind of political adjacent person in the cast somehow. Like, it'll either be a news reporter, or I remember they had like a political science PhD student one time, and they all got voted off so quick. So there's a political consultant, or he's like a comms director. He works up on Capitol Hill, and this season he's still in the game, so he's kind of my guy right now. I'm holding out for him. But anyway.
Nice.
But yeah, we're kind of on cloud 9. Maybe not cloud 9, just because there's so many people who we wanted to win but still didn't quite get over the finish line. But all in all, I mean, a really terrific night. And I think, Liz, you of all people can relish in that for sure. You want to tell us a little bit about your efforts and why you finally have some anxiety lifted off your shoulders?
Yeah. So really exciting night. Overall, solid picture for Granville. The Granville Democrats backed 12 folks in different races across the county, and we won 10 out of 12 of those races. Not too shabby. So that was really exciting. Our turnout was really exciting. We went from like 18.58% voter turnout in 2023 to over 26% voter turnout this year, which is almost increasing it by 50%. And so that was really exciting, because my personal goal was like, could we get to 21% this year? So that was really great. And that made me feel like our blue ballot program was part of that, because we saw a real increase in the number of Democrats who voted compared to Republicans and unaffiliateds, at least during early voting. Um, so that was really cool. And we put Antoine Downey into Creedmoor's mayoral seat and ousted a conservative incumbent. And that was really exciting. He's going to be a great leader for that town, I really think. And he and his family came to our election night party along with a bunch of the other candidates, which we had at a community center in Oxford. And it was really great. And it also ended like an hour and a half early because we got results so early. I expected us to be there like past 11:30 cleaning up, and we were out by like 10:45. So I was stoked that we
Good
like
thing.
had a
That's
real good
100%
time.
a good
And
thing.
also so yeah, but it was a long busy, real good day here in Granville for sure. What was it like in Johnston? I know you guys had some big races.
Yeah, we had some town council races. We flipped 3 seats here that were either for like that either had Republican incumbents or Republican aligned unaffiliated candidates. So I mean, we didn't win everything we wanted to win. Some people that we thought might have a chance just got kind of slaughtered, but it's Johnston County. So, like, there's just certain little bright red areas. And then in places like Clayton or Smithfield or Selma, we had candidates come out on top. And we got somebody elected to Clayton Town Council that absolutely deserves it and ousted somebody who does not. So, that's always a good feeling. So, I mean, and I wish that we could have increased our turnout as much as you guys did in Granville. Not quite the same amount, but I mean, depending on how you calculate it, we went from 10% turnout to 13.5% turnout. So, pretty
That's
decent.
great though. Yeah.
It's like what, a 30-ish, 35% turnout increase from last year. So, my math ain't so good, so I'll just chalk it up to it was better than last time.
I think that seems to be kind of a running theme, just kind of what I've been hearing anecdotally, is just surprisingly high turnout for municipals, of all things. No, most people... Sorry, I've got a special guest as well. Hey, sweetie.
Yeah. This is a recurring issue on Left of Old North.
I can understand how that might cause an adorable problem.
Oh, and it's only when we're recording. That's the thing, is they are immediately interested in what we're doing. Anything else we're doing? Nah, whatever.
Basically.
Yeah. But I can hear her coming from the living room. It'll just be like, she's just running in here. But sorry, you were saying that's a recurring thing you've been hearing throughout last night.
Yeah, just kind of anecdotally at least, is surprisingly high turnout for municipals, of all things. So, I mean, if you look at kind of the election cycles and relative turnout, everyone turns out for the big ones every 4 years, the presidential ones, probably high numbers, right? Midterms, half that, if not less, Municipals? Who the hell turns out for municipals? No one. Ever.
Certainly not Trump voters. That's what we found out.
And so I think,
I
think just like I said, this kind of running thing that I've been hearing about, it says a lot about the state of, one, just how pissed off people are in general, but also just how motivated they are to actually get out there.
A lot of things to be pissed about.
Oh, yeah.
We can go through the laundry list, but I think that there are like really 3 major things, like Liz, what did you think were like the biggest things that kind of got people out to the polls?
So as I was thinking about this, I think affordability overall, like the rising cost of living and the rising cost of housing specifically are like driving people to something different, to something that is not status quo. Um I also think there is a level of like angry at Trump. What can I do? I can do this. I don't think everybody's making that connection between like the national races and these local races, but I think some folks are. I think that's definitely part of the messaging that we deployed in Granville was very much like your local races impact your household so much more in so many ways than the bigger top of the ticket races that happen on even number years. And so to that end, like please, dear God, participate in these. And because turnout is so low, your vote means so much more. And then what a great good bonus it is that like that also has juiced turnout a little bit. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
We can go even more local, just down the road in Raleigh. The fact that the NCGA, the General Assembly, has failed to pass a budget, but they can pass maps that gerrymander the hell out of this state, even more than it already was, right? I think there was a lot of good messaging around that rather than calling it gerrymandering and so forth, because like people have heard that term over and over and over again. Like they are rigging the state, and people see
They're
that.
stealing.
They are stealing. They can't win on their policies or their platform. So they just want to choose their voters and draw us out of any ability to legislate. I think what surprised a lot of us was that you know, I don't know about y'all. So I'm a little too online sometimes, but Republican MAGA Twitter shitter with the X was freaking out. They were absolutely having a meltdown last night, which was
Yeah, yeah. CJ, I know you wanting to say something, so I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to echo the, like I strive for balance, but at times a little too online. And one of the things that my fiance and I were talking about as we were debriefing late last night was like the one of the areas of Twitter that he sees is like crypto Twitter and the like intersection of like Elon Bros and neo Nazis over there having a freak out. Like, whoo, wowza, so much.
wow.
CJ, I know you're in Wake, like, and some exciting stuff happened there. What was your rundown or perspective or highlights from yesterday?
So for me, I me personally, I had some serious FOMO last night. So I live in Raleigh. We did not have municipals, right? Raleigh had no municipals. A couple of years ago, I think it was the town council decided to do some kind of sketchy shit and move municipals to like I think even number years and what. Also, same with I think their re-election years. Just some weird behind the scene, inside baseball behind the scene shit. So yeah, we had nothing here in Raleigh, unfortunately. But
Gosh.
I'm in all these political group chats, watching people celebrate like, hey, we just did this in this town and blah blah blah. Mom Donnie wins up in New York. Virginia has first female governor. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, Virginia
Oh, yeah.
swept.
Oh yeah. But no, I will say I do know that there has been a lot of just kind of celebration in and around kind of the outer parts of Wake County, the other parts that aren't Raleigh. So like
Mhm.
Wake Forest, for example, I know they elected a new mayor. From my understanding, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but the previous mayor of Wake Forest kind of got herself in some hot water not too long ago by essentially saying, yeah, we're not going to have like a pride parade or anything like that. We're not going to essentially acknowledge it because we don't want to, offend people or some bullshit like that. Right.
That's sounding
Yeah.
familiar.
It's I might have a couple of the details wrong, but overall, that's what it was. And
Yeah.
she's gone.
How many terms has she served? Was it 6 terms?
Yep. 6-term Republican incumbent. Yeah.
By 41 points.
Yeah.
That's not 41 votes. That's 41 margin
Yep.
points. Like, she got clapped. You could say she got clap saddled. That's the guy's last name.
Nice.
Who beat her?
Let's see. Also, in Fuquay, Verena, kind of in the southern part of Wake, Bill Harris defeated 2-term Republican incumbent to become the next mayor of Fuquay. Dems flipped the mayorship of Holly Springs, picked up a seat on the town council. Just
Feel it
kind of
necessary to say it's Fuquay Verena.
So what?
It's Fuquay Verena,
Whatever.
not Fuquay.
I do the same damn thing, CJ. I never know which one it is, the few or foo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Fuquay Verena. It's
You sound like a
too hard.
transplant.
I am.
You know what? I've moved around a lot, and I'm actually okay with that. My dad was in retail. We made history with the election of new mayors in Salisbury and Farmville. Kimberly Owens flipped a seat on the Charlotte City Council that had been held by Republicans for more than a decade.
Jesus.
We got the first female mayor of Graham in Alamance. And I mean, I'm still, when it's like the first, it's so sad, but it's so sad, but it's so happy all at the same time. The 2 seats on Jacksonville City Council. Wilson elected Eduardo Herrera Picasso, the first Hispanic member of the Wilson Town Council. Like, I mean, as I look up and down the ballot, Buncombe exceeded turnout 43%. Like, I'm just
Oh
so
my God.
stoked about that isn't that crazy good?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, also, like, just to turn to like folks whose races did not quite go our way. I know I was following Park Ingofield's race in Hickory pretty closely, and she lost by 500 votes. But they juiced turnout. Like, it went from like 8% in the previous odd year to like 16%. Like, they doubled her turnout overall in 2 years from
Jesus.
her door knocking efforts. Yeah.
And I do think that overall that signifies that A, turnout is everything, right? But like B, you're really going to see gains even in places where you don't really expect to win when you can close that gap, when you can kind of shrink that margin and show like, when you get out the vote, when you actually canvass, knock doors, you call, you get people involved, you volunteer, all these other things, like you can make it a lot closer of a race and make some of these folks shake in their boots. But yeah, I mean, we saw a great trend. Like one of the things that surprised me was, I mean, y'all might have heard a very short-lived controversy that I think kind of came a little too late in the game. If it was a false flag, if they were trying to do something there, but in Wilmington, there was
Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. This might have flown under the radar for a lot of people, and that's kind of probably why it didn't really catch too much fire. But there was a scheme by Democrats, allegedly. The NC GOP got a tip that somebody was sending around text messages offering to pay people money to vote for the Democrats that were running in the municipal elections. And here's the thing. There is no like real truth to this. Like, it comes from one person who immediately reported it. Text messages are extremely easy to fake. Who knows if it's real? It went nowhere. But here's the best part, right? The incumbents and the Republicans that way outraised all the Democrats that were running in the race got clapped. The New Hanover, Wilmington mayor flipped and is now held by a Democrat, and the Wilmington Town Council is now all Democrats. They completely,
oh my God, that's so great.
They completely locked them out.
Wow.
So it didn't matter.
I
That was
Yeah,
one that
no,
really
that's so
shocked
cool.
me.
Talking about the little false flag operation, I decided to get to the guy's Twitter because I know exactly who you're talking about. And you want to talk about MAGA just melting down? Oh my God, this dude. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to get.
Well, apparently he became a Republican
Yeah,
just to vote for Republicans, except when he became a Republican 2 years ago.
yeah. He tweeted yesterday.
And then became a Republican last year.
Yeah, he tweeted yesterday on October 1st. I officially became a Republican. Today, I voted for the first time as a Republican. Use your voice, make change, get out there and vote. Okay, you did not just become a Republican. If your Twitter is any indication, shut the fuck up.
We're allowed to swear as much on Foxfire Dispatch, right?
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I think we historically have been sailors
Okay.
and will continue to be. And my grandmother may complain about it when she listens to the episodes, and I will tell her that we are millennials and things have changed, and I will use my fucking language the way I fucking well please.
Following in the footsteps of Chair Anderson Clayton, who was dubbed by what magazine or outlet was it? They gave a little rundown of her youngest chair in the country, swears like a sailor. Like that's one of her
That's one of the
personality
points, yeah.
bullet points.
Honestly, I love that. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's true.
And I also think, I also think there's like something classist about like looking down on like particular linguistic choices. And so I love the like resistance of like, no, I can actually use curse words and also use my 25-cent, pernicious words as I want to. So okay, I'm gonna get off a linguist high horse.
Pernicious.
now.
That's a silver dollar word. That's not 25 cents.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
I mean, we talked a little bit about where we fell short in a couple of races that we were watching statewide. Did any incumbents fall that you didn't expect? Because I definitely was shocked about that one district in Charlotte that they had held for 10 years, but we kind of already talked about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I was like cautiously optimistic about the flip opportunity that we had in Granville. I was honestly like so focused on our county elections that was finding out a lot about like races across the state, like as our Signal chat results rolled in last night.
The most active live feed I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Now, look, I think I put this on Blue Sky, but the political chat on election nights, like the little chat groups, are a special place. They are absolute insanity.
It's like a fire hose. It's a little over. Like I was so overstimulated. It's like the Super Bowl, and it was so much better than 2024.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean,
Oh, yeah. When everybody was just like,
I think that's something we should maybe kind of talk about real quick is a year ago today from when we are recording this was when Trump was reelected. A year ago, I remember the race I was managing at the time. Let's see, right about now or so. We realized, yeah, we weren't going to pull it off, that we were going to lose by about 400 votes and nothing we could do, right? And of course, I was trying to keep up with the national stuff, and I had a feeling, earlier than I think some folks, that Trump was going to win again. And so it was just not a great night. I remember driving home from Nash County to Raleigh. It's about an hour-ish drive. Just basically in silence. I may have had some music on, but I was not listening to anything. And I remember sitting in the parking lot of my apartment. And Adrian, you and I had talked for a good while, I remember, actually. I think kind of mourning and just trying to find comfort that's any way we could. And
Yeah.
I was up till I think about 2 or 3 that morning, just trying to process all of it. And it's also when I started to conceive the idea of what would become left of Old North. But oh, damn, time flies. But
Yeah.
but all that was a year ago. And obviously this year has not been super great on a national level, destruction of democratic norms, destruction of the East Wing. That's a personal thing of mine. Just all this just bad shit has happened, right? But last night, just across the country, people said, fuck this, and showed up. And I think it's just important to kind of take a moment to acknowledge how far things have kind of come since then, since last year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think that kind of takes us really nicely into talking a little bit about the national landscape last night. I mean, I feel like we mentioned it mentioned it on recording. We've certainly talked about it off recording, but like Mom Donnie winning, fucking huge in New York. Like I whooped and hollered when I got that notification last night. I thought it was so cool. He is the first candidate to get 1 million votes in New York City since 1969.
Nice. Yeah,
Insane.
I was sitting here where I'm at right now, and my wife was putting our kid to sleep, and the news broke. I just remember going, yes, like, I need to be quiet. And she texted me, she's like, what happened? And I just texted back in all caps, Mom Donnie won.
Yeah, and it wasn't close.
No.
I think that was something that I thought, like, obviously people were kind of joking, like the mom date that he would have if he won. But I mean, people can blame Curtis Sliwa for staying in the race. Like, Slee was a kook, but like, good on him for staying in, because Cuomo he may have been endorsed by Trump, but that was all the more reason for Democrats not to vote for him, in my opinion. He kept campaigning on nothing but Mom Donnie's going to roll over when Trump comes into town, but I won't. Meanwhile, the dude's accepting his endorsement. Like, maybe he didn't accept it, but the dude's getting his endorsement, doesn't shrug it off, doesn't say I don't accept or anything like that. Like, people were so tuned into this election, far more than most people would be for a New York City mayoral election. Like, was anybody paying this much attention when Eric Adams was running?
I mean, I don't think people in Kentucky were going, where's my polling place? I would like to vote for Mom Donnie 2 years ago. But I do believe that maybe did actually happen yesterday, at least from stories that we have heard. But I mean, just like to what you were saying, Adrian, I feel like the racist anti-Muslim shit that Cuomo has like done alone should be disqualifying, like even without the sex pest shit and anything he did during COVID, like hugely unqualifying. And just I'm so excited by like the idea of Mom Donnie as mayor and what that could mean for New York City and how that could ripple out into like a different kind of imagined world for the rest of us. Like, and he's young too.
I mean, he's definitely somebody that I think Democrats are having a come to Jesus moment a little bit, because they're like, well, what do we learn from this? What is to be learned from all this? And I think probably the most salient point that I've seen made about this election in particular is that Mom Donnie had the ability to capture people and get their attention so that he had it enough time to actually talk to them about the issues that mattered to New Yorkers. Like, you can say it was the social media, sure, but the social media got you to listen for long enough that he was starting to talk about issues that mattered to everyday New Yorkers. What did Cuomo have? Zoran is bad. He's a Muslim. He doesn't like Israel. I love Israel. You should vote for me. And then when it came to the actual issues, he had almost no difference in policy from Zoran. If you watch the debate and you get rid of all the rhetoric, half of the questions they asked him sounded exactly like what Zoran would have said in the first place.
Oh yeah.
And even now, you're seeing, again, we're going to talk about this a little bit because like this is my main line to Republican thought processes on Twitter, on X. They were talking about how we need to shift the entire conversation on the Republican right to affordability. And I'm like, oh, so it was a winning issue. So you were paying attention. It wasn't the anti-Israel stuff. Well, too little too late, because you flubbed it real bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be cool to see what he does in New York. I'm very invested in the idea of free grocery stores. I think like the like food as a right thing is a position really worth exploring in a country that likes to pretend it's the greatest country in the world. And I think that could be really, really cool and transformative. Plus like free transportation also, like huge.
They were government subsidized, right? That was the thing. It was that they were city owned grocery stores.
Yeah.
No, I don't know anything about free. I'm just making sure that I get this right.
I think no, you're right. His policy was like city owned grocery stores. I am conflating it with, so in Canada, there's a Canadian province where they opened a free grocery store recently, and people can go and every week get 200 Canadian dollars worth of groceries for free.
My gosh.
And this is like something they're doing to fight hunger.
Yeah.
And anyway, city owned, subsidized cost. Yeah. Also great, good step in this direction. I'm all for like progressive incremental change here. But conflating those, my bad.
No, you're fine. I mean, when the national conversation is squarely on SNAP benefits not being renewed, when the national conversation is around affordability, about healthcare prices, about property prices, about insurance, like it's just insanity. People can't even afford to live, much less eat. And now you want to tell me that the government is shutting down and Trump's having a piss fight with judges about whether or not he's going to allow SNAP benefits to be renewed? Meanwhile, we've got this guy in New York City who's like, hey, you should be able to afford to live. What message is going to win with the voters? I think we saw exactly which message is going to win with voters, and it's the one that directly relates to SNAP benefits, government subsidized grocery stores, because we can't afford to let people starve in our cities. Literally.
I think that is indicative of what the next year or so in politics is going to kind of revolve around as far as messaging goes, is just typical kitchen table issues. Now, I guarantee you what's going to happen is Republicans will try to turn stuff into culture wars, blah, blah. That's what they always do because, as we've said already, their policies suck. They can't win on them. So they try to piss people off and make them fear the other.
That wasn't clear enough with the Mamdani 9/11 conflation.
I think whether you live in a overwhelmingly blue city like New York, or if you live in, Hickory, or if you live in, anywhere in like Johnston or wherever, if you live in like red areas, your interests are still very similar. You also, just like the people up in New York, you also care about whether or not you're able to put food on the table, whether or not you're going to be able to afford your health insurance, and not have your, monthly premiums skyrocket 200, 300, 400%. These are issues that everyone from both sides of the aisle do care about because they're actually affected by them. And I think that's what the messaging is going to have to revolve around over the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean, we have definitely said it on the Foxfire Dispatch before, but like most of us, we are closer to being homeless than we are to being a billionaire. So we are closer to food insecurity and living out of our car than we ever are to how many 9-10 figures in your bank account? It's not gonna happen. Like,
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, what is it? You're a couple missed paychecks away from being homeless
mhm.
or completely financially destitute.
Yep. And it's
And
scary.
let's not forget people with kids.
Yeah.
The compounding price of healthcare for families is like really hard to fathom. Just as a person who like on health insurance paperwork is single, like I see but do not feel the price of like the adding the dependents, but it's so significant. It's so significant for folks who are in your situation.
Yeah. I just switched jobs, right? And the job that I hopped onto, taxes are taken and whatnot, but there aren't any there's like no health insurance or anything like that. That's just the nature of the game. But I, unfortunate that I'm able to make a little bit extra than what I was in my previous job. And so I am able to kind of make up for the increase in what my wife is going to have taken out of her paycheck to cover me joining her insurance as well. I think for me, her, and our kid, it's going to be like $500 a month taken out, or per paycheck taken out. And that's insane.
It's about to go up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people are, sorry to interject, it's just like people want to blame Democrats for the shutdown. And I think once again, they saw the internal polling numbers and showed that like, yeah, some people blame Democrats, but way more people blame Republicans. And part of that is because they realize, oh, my life is about to become extremely unaffordable. Like if premiums go up, we're destitute because
Nobody's
there's no guarantee.
Nobody's got an extra $500 a month.
Right.
We know.
And there's no
You know?
guarantee that that your health insurance is even going to cover something if something even happens.
Right. And I gotta say, I think it's important to kind of talk about the nature of the shutdown itself and just how Republicans and Trump really are operating with this. So, Trump purposely let SNAP benefits expire. Republicans are blocking, bills on the floor to allow fully funded SNAP benefits to go out, blah, 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 blah. And it's all to try to force Democrats to the negotiating table, right? It's all to do that. So why do they want to force them to the table? So that they can get rid of the ACA subsidies so they can make things go up even more for health insurance. So essentially, they are causing pain and cutting off food to children and elderly people, right? They're cutting off food to inflict pain. It's political violence in order to force Democrats to allow them to inflict more pain financially. That's fucked.
I also think at like a level like one step removed from the politics of it all, there is an element of if you are hungry, if you are scared of housing insecurity, you don't go out and protest. You don't participate in civic life, in the many free volunteer hours that people like the three of us put into civic life, because you are trying to survive. And I think there is a level of like imperial colonialist boot on your neck, like you will be hungry and scared so that you don't fight back. And I think it is Democrats' job at the local level as organizers, at the like federal level as at Congress, to like fight back against that kind of pain being inflicted on people and like intentionally.
Yeah. And I will say, I think after last night, just all the results, I don't think Dems need to even give any ground at this point. I mean, I didn't think they need to anyway, but like, they don't have to. This is entirely on Republicans. Republicans are going to be forced to own it. They have to own it. This is on them.
Yeah. If their best play is we can't govern, we can't do anything, then that is not going to get them through to the midterms.
If that is their best play, they are betting on the entirety of the voting like public to have lost their minds and been unable to comprehend that Republicans owning 3 branches of government like equals somehow them not having the power to turn things on when they want to, but also just simultaneously like demolish history and like spend hundreds of millions, of dollars. Like there is no making it make sense.
Right. And you know, it's recontextualizing it, right? Oh, well, why didn't you sign on this as Republicans? Well, why didn't you sign on the 13 chances that you had to vote for our bipartisan bill that actually fully funds SNAP? Asterisk. Don't look into how much we actually cut SNAP already with our previous bill, our previous spending bill. Don't look into that. Like, we are at the point where politics and the bigger picture of it is now, there are so many people who are like the old Democrat mantra of when they go low, we go high is dead. It is completely dead. There are so many people that are willing to punch below the belt at this point that we are getting a glimpse into something that I am hesitantly calling Republicans have no courage. They just don't. They hide behind any kind of rhetoric they can to try and make it seem as though everything is the Democrats' fault. And then when it doesn't work, they just keep doing that and hope that they win.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that right now, but it's not working because Trump is ineffectual and he's surrounded by sycophants that have no idea how to actually run a government. All they care about is their own egos. They all just want to be podcast bros. And they left their cushy little lives to try and run the country. And sorry, turns out being a Nazi is a lot harder than it looks.
I gotta say, on like a national level, the Republican reaction to yesterday, last night, whatever. You know, we already talked about it on Twitter, but on a national level, it's so funny. It is so funny watching them melt down. You know, Trump kind of accidentally truthed or whatever, I guess the verb is, posted on Truth Social.
Yeah, he truthed.
That he accidentally revealed that yes, indeed, the shutdown is Republicans' fault. Mike Johnson was on the on I think Capitol Hill steps, essentially saying, "Oh yeah, these results are not indicative of anything coming to the midterms." Adrian, I think you put it in one of our group chats. JD Vance was just calling this a couple of blue races or some shit like that. Like they are trying
he
to
said
downplay
a couple of wins.
That's it. Yeah.
Sorry.
They are trying to downplay this, but like it's not working at all, and they know it. And you can tell they know just by listening to them. Like they sound defeated. I saw a compilation of like Fox and Friends and like all these like, you know, Newsmax, whatever, pundits, just kind of freaking out. Like Sean Hannity's like, "Oh, my friends are so depressed." And it's like, yes, give me more. Yes. Because like these are people who,
Yeah.
you know, they relish and enjoy policies that make people's lives miserable. and they're seeing that their power, their modicum of power, is slowly slipping, and they're terrified, as they should be.
Liz, you can probably identify with this really well, with, how deftly you've organized this last cycle. Like, I think part of that too, CJ, is that they are losing the gap between them and like the grassroots is widening incredibly. Like they cannot relate to the average American, and not that they ever could, but Trump said the right things about the economy and about like the pressure points that people were feeling, especially after COVID, that he was able to get himself off the line, and a few other Republicans as well. So, I mean, Liz, how do you feel being on the ground and seeing like the early vote? What is the grassroots saying?
I think the grassroots this year is saying that like organizing boots on the ground works. That the data once again proves what we have known for a while, which is that canvassing is the most effective way to get out the vote, and that you do that with a year-round organizing program and not coming in 3 months before the election. I mean, I think of it like we mounted a bigger, better campaign in the year 2025 than we did in the year 2022 as the North Carolina Democratic Party, like unequivocally, I think. From my perspective as a field organizer in 22 during those midterms to like being a county party chair now, I also fully think, people are on the take no shit line. Like people are tired of Democrats and unaffiliated voters who want to vote with us are tired of Democrats being publicly doormats.
Yeah.
And I think like I made some decisions about how I was going to lead the Granville County Democratic Party that was like, we're decidedly not going to roll over and be a submissive bitch. Like it's just not, that's not happening. And I think that like that has been received positively here and elsewhere. I also really like one really cool thing that I wanted to highlight as we talk about national that also relates to like the localness of Granville is that this year Vote Save America, which for folks who don't know is the like activism arm of the crooked media organization, they adopted a cohort of county party chairs from across the country and they gave all those county parties a good chunk of money to do shit with, that we all needed to do, and started providing like a regular space for us to share information and like learn from each other. And Granville was one of those county parties. Buncombe is the other North Carolina county party that was in the group, and they were county party chairs from Pennsylvania and Mississippi and Orlando, Florida, and those were all places that had some really significant wins last night. And so it was really, really cool to see the wins across that group, and like how much I feel like that information sharing did really help us. I mean, Orlando Dems like shared their template for their 2024 blue ballot, which informed our 2025 Democratic endorsements blue ballot for Granville, as they like gave us the editable template, just like hugely generous stuff that really, really helped us.
Rapid fire for both of you. Do you think that Gen Z moved the needle in this election?
Oh, I haven't looked at the turnout data by age yet, to be totally honest. CJ, have you?
Sorry. I mean,
Gut feeling.
I think so to some extent, but I will say it will probably be more Gen Z women than Gen Z men. We've seen Gen Z men go more to the right than we were like, more into the manosphere or whatever it is, like the Ben Shapiro's and Joe Rogan podcast and all that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if
hopefully that's starting to die down a little
Yeah.
bit. That's starting to taper off. What do you think, Liz?
I think white supremacy is alive and well in this country, and that white men of all ages, unfortunately, are the most likely to gravitate towards because they got the most to lose as we dismantle this system. So I do kind of think that, like, I definitely think like high school me thought that like all the races would eventually die out. And I think that the two Trump presidencies has taught me that, like, oh, surprisingly, maybe not. But I appreciate like CJ's acknowledgement of like the work that like a ton of young female volunteers are doing, honestly, because I can really think of them as I think about some of the folks who are really doing the work across North Carolina. I want to say that like that turnout did bump up, and I feel like cautiously optimistic that it'll bump up again in the next even year. Um, but I think our best bet is just like juicing turnout period as much as we can through strategic canvassing. And I don't mean knocking on every fucking door. And I'm gonna have another conversation strongly with my candidates next year about why we don't knock every fucking door. But strategically knocking the persuadable doors, because you got a limited amount of time to do these things and win these races, and that is the strategic smart way to do this. You know, so I just got on a high horse and lost the thread of this rapid fire. So I'm gonna turn it back over to Adrian.
Bam, 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 bam.
It's
No, I
like 10
mean-
o'clock. My brain's turned off.
Yeah. We've been up for 26 hours. No, that's the lay of the land. We're not done here. Part 2 is going to be over on Foxfire Dispatch's podcast feed. That's where CJ and Liz are going to talk about what comes next, what lessons they need to learn, and what the organizing road looks like into 2026.
So hop on over to that Foxfire Dispatch feed and let's keep the conversation going.
All right. See you in part 2.
So this season, the Foxfire Dispatch drops new episodes every other Friday. We would love it if you subscribed on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us at the Foxfire Dispatch on Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky, and just Foxfire Dispatch on TikTok and Twitter, also known as The Bad Place. Thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, we are who we're waiting for. Get in good trouble. Music for the Foxfire Dispatch is produced by John Fitz. This podcast is written and executive produced by me, Liz Purvis.